Hello everyone, I'm Mami. Today's topic is the pedal. In the previous episode, I talked about the method I use to strengthen my fingers so I can get a big sound out of the piano, even with my small hands. Now, the pedal is a great tool we have in producing a big tone. But do you know how to pedal to maximize power while still being in control of the sound you're making? Today, I want to share with you a relatively unusual way of pedaling. But when I say unusual, I certainly would not have considered this kind of pedaling until quite recently. And it is very different to the way I was taught when I was a young student. Because I got so used to pedaling in a way I always did, it did not occur to me to do it differently. And you can apply this almost immediately, and it's not something that you need to practice for hours to achieve the result. I've started this series in order to give tips for small-handed pianists like myself, but I also hope that I can share some information which will be useful to other pianists with normal-sized hands, the techniques and tips that I've learned from some of the best musicians and teachers in the world. So please subscribe to my channel, whatever hands you have, and you can find out about my performing experience from the description below. Let's get started. I have an extra camera today, so you can actually watch my foot while I do the pedaling. I'm going to demonstrate using examples from the most famous piano concertos ever written, the Grieg and Rachmaninoff piano concertos, so stay tuned. The pedal, which refers to the right pedal, also called the sustaining or damper pedal, has many functions, joining two sounds together, creating a singing legato line, or for the purpose of enhancing and coloring the tone, adding resonance and volume to the tone. And you can touch with the pedal when you want a bit more expression and feeling. Even before the first note is being struck, you can put the pedal down and fill the whole space with feeling, even before the piece has begun. And of course, Rubinstein called the pedal the soul of the instrument. If you have played the piano to a certain standard, you know how to pedal correctly. The basic rule we all learned as a kid was you need to change the pedal when you change harmony. So if you have something like this, you can keep the pedal down as long as the sound relates to the same chord. But you need to change as soon as the harmony changes. Change, change, change. You've noticed my foot was rather slower or later than my hands, which is called the syncopated pedaling. And there are many videos on YouTube how to do the syncopated or legato pedaling, so I'm not going to go over that today. My question today is, are there situations where you can break that rule? Is it always such a bad idea not to change the pedal when the harmony changes? And I'm not talking about certain modern pieces or impressionistic music where it may be considered stylistic to blend harmonies together. But what about in tonal music up to the Romantic era? Can you do an outrageous pedaling and still sound good, or much better than the correct way? This is from the last movement of the Grieg Piano Concerto. I think most pianists would pedal this according to the harmonies. So these chords belong together, so you have these in one pedal. And change for the next harmony. And change again. You can see how it's written on the score as well. Now I'm going to try what I call the across pedaling, also known as the bad pedaling. We are going to purposely pair two chords which do not belong to the same harmony together in one pedal, just the very thing you were told not to do. Now listen to this. You can see my foot, or look at the score. Is it a bit too much? In that case, we will have to re-pedal on the last E major 7th chord. Let's try again. I think think it works really well. It gives richer sonorities to the sound. Before I show you the example from the Rachmaninoff Piano Concerto that I promised, I want to quickly have a look at the piece called Valse Caprice by Tchaikovsky. And by the way, if you don't know this piece, it's really lovely. Towards the end of this piece, there's this passage which goes. Now, how would you pedal this? Applying the basic principle of pedaling, the orthodox common sense approach would be to change the pedal at the beginning of each bar, because each bar has a different harmony, so it makes sense to pedal. Change. Change. Now that sounds okay, but the point here is that this is the big moment that everyone has been waiting for, and Tchaikovsky prepares for this moment by this dramatic interlocking octaves. You want to stage an overflowing of emotion here. For me, pedaling too cleanly here is too good and disappointing. It's like playing the piano with knees together. Now let's try instead pedaling across from the upbeat into the downbeat, which belongs to different harmonies. It would give more surge of feeling into the downbeat by mixing the two harmonies together. Generally speaking, it is quite acceptable to pedal through different harmonies when the bass note stays the same, like in this case it is A. And now we come to the famous example in Rachmaninoff's second piano concerto. You can pedal right through the opening 8 bars with no changes at all, and the bass note remains on F. Many pianists do repedal with each chord, and it's almost like our instinct to do so when we see a new chord, but you don't have to. It's like when you're trying to build a huge monument, and each time you have built something and you pedal and it's gone and you have to start all over again from scratch. It's like when you're trying to shoot a YouTube video and it takes ages to set up camera, the pedal angle, the lighting, microphone, putting on makeup, and when you're ready to go, your husband comes in and disturbs you and you run out of time and you have to do it all over again on the following day. Not good. Now keep watching my foot. I'm not going to move it, piling up each new step on top of what have come before, and when it reaches the height of its intensity and you can no longer withstand the force, the piece begins. Unfortunately, you cannot do this kind of pedaling in a classical or Baroque piece such as Bach, Mozart, Haydn, because that's considered out of style. But in romantic music, definitely yes. When you want to add that extra intensity of feeling, or when the music requires a thunderous effect, experiment pedaling across different harmonies to build more sonority. Execute it well. A bit of dirty or bad pedaling can go a long way in concert halls, creating much bigger sound, more excitement and power to your performance. I hope this has given you some ideas. I think the pedaling we do has got a lot to do with the training we have received. Mine had been very much on the side of German classical tradition, so the kind of pedaling I described today came as a shock when it was first introduced to me. But if you are brought up with the Russian tradition, for instance, it may be something you do all the time. Anyway, I think it is important to be open to different suggestions and ideas, so we have a variety of tonal colors, a palette of different sounds in your technique. Thank you for watching to the end. I'm hoping to make more videos like this to share musical ideas which have helped me and which are worth spreading. So please subscribe to my channel. I would also love to get your feedback, so please do write in the comment section. Look forward to seeing you again. Bye.